Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Sister Talk.
Yes, indeed.
Welcome to
It's episode 2.
Well,
episode 2.
This is episode 2. We are so excited. We're so glad that we got such a wonderful response on our first episode, and we are just this is what we wanted. We just wanted people to watch, have fun with it, and tell us what they think about it. Again, my name is Ceri Samvilian. Hi, everybody. I'm a life coach, and I live in Vienna, Austria.
And I am Sheila Makena, founder of yourpushfactor.com. And I also happen to be a life coach as well. And I live in Nairobi, Kenya.
Exactly. And just to remind everybody, the reason we started Sister Talk, it's been something we both wanted to do for a long time because we're sisters, 2 years apart. I'm the older one. And we, as you heard, we are both life coaches. We've both gone through so much in our lives. And we just wanted to share the conversations we've been having privately. Now we wanted to share them with everybody because we seem to be having these huge, amazing talks. We feel are dropping so many gems, and we thought, hey, why don't we just record it and share it with everybody else? Because we feel like it's going to be as useful as it is together. I'm sure it will be useful also sharing with everybody else, right?
100% agreed. 100% agreed. What could be better than not hoarding such valuable information, just sharing it with as many people as possible, those who decide to watch anyway, and realize, wow, I'm not the only one who is going through these experiences, So that's one of the bigger purposes of having, a series like this. So yes, and tell us, sister, what is today's topic? Pray tell.
So first, I want to do a shout out.
Really?
I want to do a shout. I'm wearing a very special shirt today. This shirt was designed by my lovely sister, Makena. Out of many other talents that she has, she's an artist and an amazing artist at it. She did this t-shirts, like printed them, I don't even know, 8 years ago. I don't even know
back
how long
in
ago
2013, 20.
Yeah. And she designed them herself. She called them Soul
Addiction. They actually on your
Soul
shirt.
Addiction.
Yeah, it's written on your shirt. Soul Addiction.
You can't see the whole thing, but it's Soul Addiction. And these shirts, I just, I'm pushing her to keep her art going. She has too many talents. So this is a shout out to her sister and her beautiful talents.
Thank you so much, sis. I appreciate it. And I've been thinking more about it now that there is a lot more time because of the current crisis we are. And I figure, hey, why not? Why not bring back at least the shoes, the designing, the custom shoes part.
And she did shoes. She would paint shoes. She would do t-shirts, and people love their shoes. She's just amazing. Anyway, so I just wanted to do a little shout out for that. But today, I wanted to talk about something. Makena went online, did a live like a few days ago. And she came up with, she was telling us a story of what happened when she was younger. And I was like, when she was saying this story, I'm like, dude, do you even know what was happening behind the scenes of your...
I couldn't have known, but basically what Ceri
Exactly.
It was a very, very defining experience in our childhood when I was 7 years old. And I didn't burn down the house. But
no, lucky for us.
Yes, but I almost attempted to. And everybody has different versions and understandings. And because of the fact that I had done something that I knew was terrifying and scary, I ran away for a few hours. So what I didn't know...
She's 7 years old. I just want to mention, it is... I don't know what year this is, 1995? What year was this?
It was 87. No.
It was 87. 87. Yeah. She's 7 years old, and the 7-year-old decides to leave.
Yes. Okay. I decided to run away. And I ran away for a few hours.
Then,
Like for the rest of the afternoon, I was gone. So I
you
had
were
no
gone
idea.
for exactly 5 to 6 hours. I know, but keep going.
Well, now in my head, that was
Yeah,
my head.
as I said, no.
So that means that I basically set fire to the closet. That's basically what I did. I took a match, I lit it, and I threw it in one of the closets in my brother's bedroom, which happened to have suitcases. And in those suitcases, I did not realize that my mother had gone on a trip to London and she came back, and those were clothes that she had bought for us. I didn't know that, but I basically saw stuff in the whatever. I think I was angry. I really think that's what it was. Anyway, so I see these suitcases and I decide to light a match. And I stood there, and my sister comes in because I don't know what it was that prompted
I
me.
smelled smoke and trailed it upstairs. And then I saw smoke coming through the door.
Got it. And then that's when you took either my brother's blanket or some kind of bedding and threw it
the duvet,
on. Yeah, it was a duvet. And you threw it on the fire and basically outed the fire. You put it out, right? So I could have done some serious damage if she hadn't come in. And I just remember you asking me, what's going on? What's happening? And before I could answer, I think I probably was frozen and I just didn't know how to respond. But our house help came in and was like, what's going on? Then my brother comes in, what's going on? So you are like, I don't know. I just found myself in the, I trailed the smoke. I came and I found Makena in the bedroom, and your closet was on fire, and I put out the fire. And as you were talking,
you disappeared.
I slipped out of the bedroom, out of the house, out of the gate, out of the neighborhood, and took off because I was like, okay, I am in deep, deep trouble now. I am in trouble now. So let me just run away. Let me run away to a place that I know I'm going to be welcomed, and I'm going to have fries and chicken and soda, and I can play in the playground. There was a restaurant that was approximately, I'd say, 5 to 6 kilometers away from our neighborhood. And again, that is a very large estimate. So for a 7-year-old to walk almost 5, 6, 7 kilometers to that restaurant, basically walking across a main road, which is what I did. I crossed the busiest road of that particular area to get to that restaurant. And when I got there, obviously, I was stopped by the security guard at the gate, because he was like, where are your parents? And how did you get here? And I was like, my parents are at work and I'm here, so are you going to let me in? Obviously, they weren't going to let me in. So he told me to wait in their office. And I sat there and I waited for a long time, because in my head I was thinking they're preparing to I know it's ridiculous. They're preparing
to feed you.
Yes, they're preparing to feed me, and they're preparing to take care of me. And all I was thinking about is how I was going to go and play and have fun, assuming that there are kids in there as well.
Yeah.
All of that. And at a certain point I was like, okay, I've stayed here for too long. Let me just walk back. And when I walked up that same road, my father had clearly been driving up and down that road, hoping that he would spot me. And that's exactly what happened. He spotted me. And he stops the car on the side of the road. And he's like, Makena, stay right there. Stay there. I'm coming for you. And you could see, because there was already a traffic jam, that was the only road that you could use to get into the neighborhood. It was a very, very busy road. And there was already traffic, and I was already causing we were already causing a scene. And he comes and he gets me, and I could see people looking outside the windows wondering what's going on, because clearly this was a very alarming situation that happened. And he picked me up, puts me in the car, and we go home. And by this time the sun is coming down. It's getting pretty
it was 6:30,
late.
Makena.
Yeah, it was getting pretty late.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what my father said. I think he just kept saying, it's okay, Makena, it's okay, it's okay. Right? He was like trying to, he was like comforting me, like, because he was trying to understand what happened. Nobody shouted at me. Nobody was like, are you crazy? Are you crazy? How could you have possibly? No, he was, trying to keep the whole situation as calm as possible. And when I think about it now, I can imagine if it was my mother picking me up, that would have been a different story.
You think so?
Yes, I think she would have been like, Makena, are you crazy? Do you know how worried we were? You don't think so? Anyway, so I come into the house, and I go upstairs because my father said, Dad tells me to go upstairs. And I go up and I see Mom with one of my aunties, Aunt Helen. I don't know. I don't know why I feel like Aunt Catherine was there, but I don't think so. I think it was just Aunt Helen. And she was sitting right there in Murethi's room, worried. Sorry, I'm sorry. Murethi is our eldest brother. And sitting in that same bedroom that I set the fire in. And she was worried. Because, at the time, it's the 80s. There are no cell phones, right? My father obviously would have been able to call her and say, I have Makena, we're good, right? But
exactly.
It's only when I came up that she just was completely relieved to see me. Yeah. And my auntie was also making even more noise than my mother, just happy that I was there and I was safe.
Yeah.
And that's really the gist of the story, really. And
so the reason you were talking about it was about your need to run away.
Yeah, that
run away from whatever problem.
Yeah, my way of dealing with issues, even as I got older, was always to take off,
Yeah.
And I did that several times as I got older, but never again in my childhood. But in my younger adulthood, I definitely did that 2 or 3 times. Every time there was an issue, I would just take off for a month.
It's so silly. But why I wanted us to talk about this is because, as you were saying in your live, you were saying that we've never really spoken about it. We've never really.
We haven't. There was a time we did. Briefly.
Just a little bit, but a long time ago, yeah. But we've never really analyzed it,
No.
So let me tell you what happened in the back scene of things.
While I was away.
While you were away.
Right.
I am 9 years old then, 8, 9,
yes.
9 and a half or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and I was always the one who, because which was holidays. It was vacation time. It was one of our holidays from school, and our parents are at work, and we used to be left at home with the house help and whatever. So on this particular day, we were being silly and we were playing with matches and lighting things up. Okay, that's why you got matches. Okay. So me and my older brother and our brother Murethi, we were playing with matches, being very silly, and we finished with them. You found those matches on Murethi's bed. We were done with them and we left.
Really?
You found those matches on the bed. So now, as you were saying, on this small, it was a small house at that time. We only had like 3 bedrooms: my parents' room, our brother's room, and our room, your and my room.
Yes.
So in Murethi's room was, as you're saying, in this small cupboard. And man, I was pissed because I love the things Mom had bought at that time. I was so pissed because they were cute things, and Mom specifically kept them there because she was like, I don't want us to wear them, just spoil them. We'll take them out as occasions come out. So she kept them in a new suitcase. It was a brand new suitcase, brand new clothes. I was like, oh, we are sorted for the year. We have stuff. Yeah. So the other thing is, in that cupboard are Murethi's clothes.
That's true. Oh,
So,
I did not think about that.
anyway, so now let me tell you also what's very weird and why I picked up a blanket. And this is why sometimes the way things work out is so strange. In school that week, we learned about fires and how to put off fires.
Oh, what?
The universe is crazy. I'm telling you, the universe is crazy. And they said, don't look for water because you don't know what has started that fire. Look for a bigger cloth or a bigger blanket and cover that fire.
Yeah, because you know, the thing is, the one thing that I realized about how you handled it, it was really quick. It's like you knew what you were doing.
It's just like I knew what to do.
Yeah, immediately.
And that was the reason.
Found that, and you just
yes, because that's what we learned.
Yeah, put on the fire immediately, and I just
and then we started asking the questions. Of course, what happened? How did it happen? Oh my gosh, mom is gonna kill us. So as we're dealing with who's going to be responsible for this crap, and then that's why we didn't think about you. I was just thinking, shit, she's gonna know we were playing with matches. There were matches in here. I didn't think it was you who did it. I was like, shit, maybe the match went off somewhere. Maybe somebody threw something. So I was like, so we were dealing with our own crap.
Right.
Oh my God, we are done. We're
yeah. We will be wiped off the face of this earth.
And then after like 15 minutes of this discussion, because that was the problem. We spoke too long, and that's why you went too far without us realizing what happened. So like it was like a 15, 20-minute discussion. And then Maureen was like, but you said Makena was here. And I was like, yeah, let's go find out from her. Makena.
Oh my God.
I was like, shit, this girl has gone. Let alone the bloody fire.
Yes.
Now we have lost my mother's child.
Wow.
I was like, oh, Maurice, we're in trouble. I thought we were gonna die. So the search started. So you remember those days there are no cell phones? God, I'm dying of laughter.
Yeah.
So
there are no cell phones.
There were no cell phones. You have to call people in the office. So we said, let's give us a head start. We didn't call them for like the first hour. We said, let's just go through our living area, our estate, and just look for her. We went to the neighbors. We walked around. We're like,
do you remember another tidbit? I don't know if you ever stepped outside of the estate and went to the neighborhood and went to the shopping, the kiosk.
Yes.
Because I had
asking them.
I had left a note. I had written.
Let me tell you what happened. So this is where even your memory is not doing so well.
Got it.
So we have our mom has sisters, many sisters, and one of them doesn't live more than 10 minutes walk away from where we live. Yeah. So Auntie Helen. So yeah. Auntie Helen lives 10 minutes away. So what happened was, because as you said, it was one of our favorite aunts and we used to just go there just to go there and see. I was like, let's go there. Maybe she just went there. You went to Aunt Helen's house. You asked the maid for a piece of paper and pen, and you sat down on the dinner table and wrote us a letter.
Why do I?
That's what you did.
Why do I feel like I wrote the letter?
And that's why Aunt Helen came to our house, because she was like, now I'm also responsible. She was in my house.
Wow, I had time.
Yes, you did. It's like you thought it through. I can't even remember what was written. I'm sure Mom can tell us what was written on that letter about, I'm sorry, I did what. And we were like, okay. So Mom was just so afraid. She was like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Because now time was not on our side, because we said, if it gets dark.
Yeah, because what I did happened in the afternoon. It happened at around like 1 or 2.
2 o'clock.
Yeah.
And so you're saying you came back when the traffic was starting to get busy. It gets busy between 4, 5 o'clock, 5, 6 o'clock.
Actually, I would say it was after 5, because it was getting dark. Yeah.
Yes.
Sun was
so
coming.
It was hours, Makena, hours.
Yeah.
So we looked every niche and crook all over the place. And then Papa said, I'm just going to drive. I'm going to drive and I'm just going to see. Okay. So that's when he was just driving. We were at home just praying. Just saying, oh God, please. And what would happen? And why would she do this? And is there something wrong? And that's when we if you remember, you were like the before. So we have 4 of us, 4 kids, and we are the middle children or whatever. But before our youngest Eddie came, you were always the front and center.
The baby.
The sweet mama, the baby.
I was the baby.
And that's when mommy was like, oh my gosh, maybe we are not giving her so much attention because our younger brother came, but he came like 10 years later. I mean, we have such a huge difference with years.
Yeah.
And so
9 years later with you, and
9 years later, exactly.
No, 6 years later with me. Anyway, he was born in 1986, so he was a year old, and he had a lot of he had a lot of challenges. When he was born, he had a lot.
So for you, and mom was focused so much on him and not on you anymore.
Exactly.
So I remember her thinking, oh my gosh, maybe she feels neglected.
Yeah.
For her to do something like that.
Yeah.
That's why she didn't say anything when you came home. We were just happy that you came home. If you remember, nobody got any flack for the clothes, for the anything. That story just
ended. It died. There was no none of that.
For us, let's just put background on that. For us, that's very abnormal in our house.
Yes.
Because our mom is like the army. She's like so strict and firm. And when everything moves in the wrong direction, you are put back straight in the narrow. So this was a big deal. So dude, man, you took us through.
Yeah. The possibility of loss at that time, I think, is what made my mom made our parents not treat it like a typical situation where you have to face the consequences of your actions. That was I never really asked, which is weird because I have that tendency also of always just looking at things from my perspective and not asking about my siblings' perspective, right? And unfortunately, our eldest brother passed away in the year 2000. And it would have been a wonderful thing for us to revisit a lot of these memories.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting how we can live together in one house. Then we have the same experiences, but we interpret them completely differently.
Completely.
And like I was telling you, mom called me earlier before this recording. And I was telling her that we are going to talk about this story. And she said, of course, you have different experiences from these things because you're 2 totally different people,
Yeah.
So I've always found it interesting how memory works, how interpretation of certain things work, and
perspectives
can be so different, even if you and somebody can be experiencing the same things, but your interpretations of them are totally different. Completely.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just a very interesting thing. But what has been your takeaway really from
me? And this is what's so interesting. So as you're saying, because our perspectives are so different, it's so important to find out if you both went through the same experience. This is what I've learned with you and me, is find out what did the other person see and what did the other person go through.
Yeah.
Because in that way, because what happens is we make assumptions. We make all these assumptions, and assumptions make an ass of you and me. That's what an assumption is. So it's to deal with such situations, especially if it's a friendship, like us sisters, or your parent, or a relationship with your parents, or whatever it is. Ask them what their perspective is, or why they did what they did.
Yes.
And it's not it's not for you to so that you can just accept it or whatever. It's so that you can just understand it in a different way. Because when you do that, then most of the questions you are having, or most of the assumptions you are having, will then vanish.
Yeah.
And then you're able to have a conversation. And I think for you and me, that's what's happened in most of our lives. Because for us, we were not able to have such a talk 10 years ago. Or
Oh, we've always, to be very honest with you, I know you're going to say, oh no, Makena, that's not true. But I am a very difficult person to get through to. I really am, right?
Okay.
Because of the fact that I make a lot of assumptions. And the problem with that is that I don't give space between the assumption that I make and the action I'm going to take. I don't put a space between them and say, let me think about it and rationalize it.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, okay, I'm much better now than I was back then. I would just make an assumption and act on that assumption.
Yeah.
Right? And it would cause a lot of conflict, especially
friction.
As far as the relationship between you and me. It was always
close relationships.
Yeah. We really have not had a particularly close relationship until the past couple of years.
Especially the last 8 years, the last 5 to 8 years.
I'd say really the last 5 years.
Yeah.
I would really say that. You know, it's been a.
Do you mind us saying our ages, or is that a big deal?
No.
So I'm 41.
Yes, and I am 39. I turned
exactly.
40.
So
yeah,
this year.
Yeah.
And so it's taken us so long, and this is why we think Sister Talk is so important, because we feel like our relationship has developed, has gone through so many different stages.
Yeah.
And only now, when we are in our late 30s, 40s, are we feeling like we really are in a really good place.
Absolutely.
So for me, that gives so much, it just gives hope for people who think, okay, some relationships are just dead and done. But that's not true. If you're willing to work on each other and give each other space, you have to forgive each other again and again and again and again, because because of all that stuff that happened, that's what's made us actually closer together.
Yeah, really opening up, especially with me, because in many ways I've seen, there are times I saw you as an enemy, right?
I know.
Yeah, as somebody who is just out to get me because you think you're better than me, and because you're more social and you have more friends, or you have more of this than I have, and everybody just became my enemy, and I would just close myself off and be like, all of you can go to hell, including you, my sister.
Yeah.
Right? And it's only when I got older that I realized that, first of all, you are the most willing. I don't know why I thought that you weren't particularly interested in having a relationship with me. Again, an assumption. Huge assumption, right? But I realized, first of all, not only were you the most willing to break through these walls that I had put up, but you were also the most ready to just forget about everything that I had done to you, all the stuff that I had said to you, all the things that I had said to you. You were willing to forgive them. I still don't really. I can't. Okay, let me not lie to you and say I don't understand where my fight comes from. I actually know now where it does, but maybe that's a story that we can talk about another day. But there are huge differences between my father. I don't know why I keep saying like we are
because it's
our father's side of the family and our mother's side of the family, and a lot of that fight and being defensive comes a lot from our father's side.
Yes.
And I picked up a lot of that. And you are the complete opposite. The complete opposite.
But as we said, it's you being the introvert and me being the extrovert. As you said, I'm more social out there, and when you're that kind of a personality, of course you get more feedback from people.
Yeah, you
and as
you have less. Actually, I don't know if that has anything to do with it, Ceri. I think the truth of the matter is that you have a significantly smaller ego than I have. I have a huge ego, right? I'm serious.
I hear you. Yeah.
You know, and that's why even when I was dealing with things as a child, my first instinct was to either fight. I was literally doing what human beings instinctually do: either fight or you run.
Or run.
You are always the rational person throughout our relationship. You've always been the rational, reasonable one. You're not the one who did the extreme things. I was always the one who was doing those things, and never really you. I was always the one who was losing my temper, who was causing fights. Actually, there was a time, I don't know if you remember, I taunted you and I taunted you and I taunted you, and you punched me. Yeah.
No, you told me that, and I told you I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think I blocked that.
Yes.
My mind.
I had a coin in my mouth. You punched me. I was sure it was a long time ago. We were children.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably why you don't remember, but you hit me in the face because I think I was saying some really bad things to you. And that was the first and last time you've ever retaliated with me that way. Ever. Physically or emotionally.
I must have fought with that because
must have really, really pushed you to a certain edge. But I want anyone who is watching this, who is having any kind of conflict with a sibling, to understand that for as long as the both of you are willing to put your pride and ego aside and put your pain and the interpretations of these experiences that you had that made you feel like this person is the cause. And if you just decide to willingly sit down with each other and listen to what this person has to say, totally shocked that your perspective, you probably made up 80% of it. Because the way they interpret, the way they tell you, especially when you know your sibling is calmer than you, means that they probably have a significantly more accurate account of that memory than you do. And my relationship with you, Ceri, has been about first of all, dealing with a lot of experiences that were very, very painful for me, that in weird ways I thought that you played a part in, right? Letting go of them, and asking for your forgiveness, which you've always told me, you know what, by the way, I forgave you a long time ago. I don't even know what you're talking about, you know? But something happens when you constantly hurt somebody that you love, when you constantly berate them and abuse them verbally. There comes a time when you have to face the consequences of your actions. And
well, that happened for us. Sometime I remember the day that happened. Because it was when I was a new mom. And I'm dealing with a 2-year-old and a baby. And you again started attacking me for whatever reason. I do remember you saying, "Oh, stop come down from your pedestal." I was like, "What pedestal?" I was like, the word, I was like,
what is she even talking about?
What is she talking about? And you got, whatever. But I couldn't take that and deal with my young family at the same time. And that's when I told you, I am done talking to you like this. When you are ready and healed and fine, I am here. But like this, I am not doing this that with you.
Like you are not going to tolerate my behavior anymore.
No. And that's, I think, when the change actually started. Because as you said, everybody has a limit. I mean, of course, you can be the most patient and loving and caring, but it's a glass. So you can if you fill up that glass, of course,
Of course.
You know,
There's,
it happens.
there is a certain,
but it forces somebody to look right back into themselves and say, okay, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It forces you.
And that's the one thing that a lot of people are not willing to do.
Yeah.
So many of us are not willing to look at ourselves.
Yeah.
Really look at ourselves and say, you know what? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's ugly. And when you see that ugliness, your total unwillingness to find compassion.
Yeah, for yourself.
You've made so many mistakes. You've hurt so many people. You have because of, you know, like for me, I keep saying that I'm a recovering alcoholic, right? How am I a recovering alcoholic? Because it's still
alcoholic. Okay,
yes.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
not alcoholic. Alcoholic.
Yeah, well, anger was a big part of you.
Yeah.
It really was a big part of you.
It was,
and luckily you didn't let anger take over,
consume me.
Yeah, consume you, exactly.
Yeah, but you see, the thing about anger is that it comes with a lot of not assumed. It makes you believe that you're strong. It makes you believe that you're well protected, and that you can fight.
You're fine.
Exactly, but you're not. Fine. It's a facade that you have to, and a lot of us are just not willing to do that work because you're not willing to get down to the real vulnerability that is going on inside of you, and walk through it. And unfortunately, you have to walk through it sometimes in plain sight of other people around you, because they have already seen you lose it all the time. Like these days, I tell myself, okay, well, you know, at least this year you lost your temper once. You know, it's better. It's like I tell myself stuff like that. You know, I had to teach myself to create a system when I get angry, because the issue is not preventing the anger. The issue is what you do after you get angry, right? After I lose my temper and I know it's gone. It's like throwing a grenade. It's when you open the pin of a grenade and you throw it in a room.
That's it.
Pause it. Exactly. Now you have to live with the consequences of that problem that you caused, right?
Yeah.
And I had to teach myself that you are a human being. You are going to make these mistakes and you're going to do better next time. And it's okay. It's okay.
Self-compassion, man.
Yes. It's
self-compassion, self-kindness.
Yeah. You've been trying really hard. And you keep trying, you're going to keep going, you're going to keep getting better. And this person who you hurt, apologize to them sincerely.
Yes.
Take responsibility.
Oh, that was hard. Makena, you hated apologizing. It was like somebody was taking your heart. You hated apologizing. You know, we used to with mom, I think mom and my brother, our brother, Morelli, we used to be like, so has Makena ever apologized to you guys? And we're like, no. Ever. No.
Oh my God, because
we're like, dude,
that's the total opposite of who I was then, because now I'm the first person to apologize.
But you worked on that. You worked so hard on that.
Yeah, but you know, it's important. It's important. You have to, if you're going to evolve, if you're going to grow, if you're going to have healthy relationships with the people around you, you have to deal with that pain, that sting. It's very, it's like, I used to tell myself, why do I have to work on it? Why is it me? Why Why does it have to be me? Everybody else has problems. Everybody
That's
else
what I wanted to say.
perfect.
You have to work on it by yourself. Nobody else can do it for you. No one. You may enter a relationship thinking this person is going to heal you or put you together. You may befriend somebody because you think, this person is able to hook me up with kindness and love or whatever. But as much love and kindness and understanding is thrown to you, as long as you're not ready, it may go in. It won't heal it.
No, it definitely will not, simply because these things are coming from you, and there's nothing external that can extinguish an internal fire. You're the one who has to get to the root of it and put out the fire, like my sister put out the fire when I caused it. But this time, as an, right? I had to do that. See what I did?
Yeah, literally, Yeah. Right? I see that.
But as an adult, you're the one who has to. It doesn't matter what relationship you go into, who you think is going to save you. That's never going to happen. You have to deal with your stuff first before
by yourself.
That's so interesting. Absolutely. How this conversation has taken turn in its own twist from where we started. But I have to say, this is why
we did this.
Yeah, but I also have to say that I really appreciate how you have oodles and oodles of patience. Even our mom says, I don't know where Ceri gets it from. I don't know. I don't know where she gets her patience, her all that love. She just doesn't understand, and I don't either. But if I didn't have a sister like you, who was patient with me and who was still willing to forgive me through all of the things that I did, I don't think I would have had the ability to heal myself. I wouldn't have had that ability, because it's when you see somebody love you unconditionally that you start to tell yourself, maybe there's something about me that is lovable.
Yeah.
Maybe there are things about me that are good. Let me find out what they are. So oh man, I wish I had tissue. Anyway. So you start looking at your flaws and your demons. You don't look at them anymore as monsters and enemies that and that make you feel ugly and make you feel guilty, make you feel shame. Shame has always been my biggest issue. It's always been my biggest issue. But when you understand the underlying emotion where this shame is coming from, you realize that it comes from fear. It comes from experiences you had when you were much younger that you have not resolved, and you have to go back to that time. I was telling somebody that, I'm sorry that I keep doing that, but I was telling someone that if you had a really traumatic experience as a 12-year-old that you haven't resolved, that issue, it doesn't matter if you're 45, you still have the emotional intelligence of a 12-year-old. You're still stuck in that space. You're still stuck in that space, and you have to go back to where it was, where you are, and start
and forgive yourself.
Forgive and start the healing process, because until you do, you're stuck there. You're still a 12-year-old. Like, with my anger, I was still 12 years old. I was showing you guys the 12-year-old version of me, where all that came out, and that's the thing. I didn't know how to deal with those things. That's why, I don't know why I felt that it was okay for me to be so destructive and practically almost want to burn a house down. But
you were a kid then. You were 7.
But those
you didn't know any better.
That's true. I agree with you. That part is not the issue. The part is not the beginnings of that I wasn't able to handle certain emotions now. But when you are an adult, the things that happen to you are not your fault. But as an adult, it is your responsibility.
It's your responsibility.
To heal yourself.
Each and every time,
I'm sorry about this. If you want to have healthy relationships with people, if you want to expand your consciousness and evolve and grow, you have to
be better. And just be better.
Be a better human being for yourself and for others.
For yourself,
yeah. Starting with yourself, you have to go through this.
Absolutely.
Which makes me wonder, sis, like with you, because I always felt like you didn't have issues as such because you because you handled them so well. You handled them so well. You always did. You were always such a lady about all these things. You never showed out. To me, I'm sorry, I'm just telling you.
Okay.
Because I was always the one who was getting angry. I was always the one who was storming off. I was always the one who was screaming and shouting. That was never you.
I don't know. I honestly, I guess it's my character. Honestly, I think God just knew what to give me because he knew that Makena needed it and my family needed it. So I think I've always had that in me.
That compassion.
To be, and just to be the one who cares for people.
Yeah.
I have no idea why, but I always feel, but it's also something that makes me feel better. It's not something I'm doing because, honestly, I feel like I always do it for me because it makes me feel better. I love caring for people. I love being there for people. I love doing extra things for people, especially who I love and care for. I just love it. It brings me joy. And you're my only sister. Of course, I'm not going to give up on you. Hello? It's not like I have another one. Or where am I going to get another one from, So for me, that was not a thought, but I knew you had to deal with stuff. For times, I always see our relationship with like different timelines.
Yeah.
Of when we were kids, of when we went to university.
Yeah, we had a terrible
high school. When we went to university and after that, it's like it had different timelines.
Stages.
And I guess nobody may believe this, but in high school, we went to the same high school and we never spoke.
Nope.
We only spoke when we were in the same house, but in high school, we would be in the same school. If somebody asked me, where's your sister or how is she or whatever,
I don't know.
I could not answer that.
And I was exactly the same.
It's like there was this relationship.
Yeah, it's like sibling rivalry or something.
Exactly. And then when we moved to university, we had to start talking to each other because we just had each other. Because, mom had left and we had to deal with each other. So we had to talk to each other.
Yeah, and also you probably would have hung out more with our eldest brother, Muredi, but he passed away. And that was
we did hang out at that time. I mean, when he was there, when we were first year together, that's what we did. We had mutual friends. We would hang out all the time. I loved him I adored him. He was like my, I adored him to bits. And I just wanted to be with him all the time. And that's why I clawed on his friends who became my best friends until today. So that's I was just, but that, and then when he died, I think that was another break. And that's why we have timelines, and that's when things also changed for us. And I think that's when you realize you can talk to me.
Yes, that's true.
But that's a conversation for another time. I think we need to have that whole conversation of what happened at that time.
Agreed.
That will be another sister talk, but that was another stage. I really think is so a huge peak of where things changed for us also.
Yes, absolutely. So, I think that it would be a very, very, very important thing for us to talk about how we dealt with grief. I think it's a very important topic to discuss, and we don't have to discuss it like the very next whatever. We'll see as
we'll see how it goes.
It's still a very, very sensitive topic, and readiness is very, very important as well, so that we can also be able to speak clearly and speak well about it.
But so that was us and dealing with change and anger and seeing people's perspective and all of that. So I think that's what we get from this discussion today.
Absolutely.
And as you were saying, in the end, it's about us taking responsibility for our actions. It's about us taking responsibility for who we are and what we are to others around us, and doing the work. Do the work, and you will see the results with how you how your relationships are.
Absolutely.
Honestly, your relationships are with anybody.
Yeah.
This is your investment in life. After everything else, it's the relationships you create around you. Those are the things that will make you or break you for sure in
Agreed.
life. So I think that's the takeaway for today.
Yeah. My part in short is that it's crucial for every human being to know who is most important to you and who is worth you breaking down your walls and breaking down your barriers for, right? Because we do have those people. Don't do that thing. A lot of people hide behind, self-love and
yeah,
I'd rather be on my own because it's better that way. Meanwhile, there are people in your life that you've chosen to continue to have difficult relationships with that are worth doing the work and the healing for, because they truly love you and they truly want you to be better, and they are ready to give you the love and the support that you need. But if you don't break down your walls, if you don't break your barriers, if you don't decide to work on yourself so that you receive those blessings from the people that matter the most to you, you will die alone and miserable. And it's something that you could have worked on, something that you could have done. The healing, it's not easy, but it's worth it in the end.
It is worth it. It is worth it. I think during this time, especially during this lockdown time, that we have to stay and really look within ourselves. I think these are the things we should take the time to look into.
I completely agree. Start defining what really matters to you. Who is the most important to you? What's the work that you need to do so that you can,
why do you react the way you react? Why are you the way you are? What is it that you like about yourself? What is it that you don't like about yourself? And what it is that you're willing to change and be better? Just state that out, and you will be surprised. And I think you'll like yourself also in the end. You'll really like yourself better afterwards.
Of course. I mean, what I'm learning about myself is that I'm always surprised at how much I've changed. And also the reactions that I've received from the people that I love and are closest to me about how much I've changed. And there's still things to do and there's still a way to go, but it's so much better than where we started. So I'm certainly appreciative of that. And sis, I'm really glad we had this discussion. This has been,
I know, healing, right?
Yeah, soulful.
Yeah, it's very nice. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us. If you saw this until the end, we know the discussions are long, but they are just heart discussions from our hearts to yours. Thank you so much, and see you next time.
Take care, guys. Bye.